hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is just a few minutes past 2 p.m. here in Central Europe, and yeah, I've been busy. We knew. We talked about me maybe progressing a bit on the Spirograph Beanie on my own. I did one row. That's it. I simply haven't had time. So many things to handle and to take care of, and they just take priority. That's just how life is. Hopefully I'm slowly soon starting to see the end of the project that I'm working on. I am trying to see if I can have it finished this week, because that means I'll have so much more room to crochet. But there's a few things going on this week as well, so I'm not really sure how much I'll get to crochet this week. But I have reserved this time for today because we usually go live on Wednesday afternoon. I'd like to continue doing that at least as long as I'm able to do so. In a few weeks, I will be away though. But today I'm here, and this is currently where we are at with the beanie. Hello, good morning, Susan. Good morning, Sarah. Wonderful to see you, ladies. Absolutely enjoyable. I am looking forward to hang out with you all, and I have my tea. My faithful mug of tea keeps being faithful to me, except right now I am not gonna sip from it because it is warm. Like, I just made it. Right here, it is just black tea, mango flavored, plain, nothing crazy. It's been sunny here today, so it's been absolutely gorgeous weather. I may receive a parcel later today. I'm unsure when it will come because the courier haven't really scheduled. It's just saying expected delivery today. So if I have to take a short break to pick up a parcel because the doorbell buzz, I will just shortly ask for being excused for that. But yeah, so we have the Spirograph Beanie, which I am definitely slowly working on. And like last time, I think we should give him a name actually, or her. It. I don't know if it's a he or she. But it is my head. And since I did another round since last time, and actually I thought I would even have time to weave in ends, but I haven't. So please, please, please ignore that. This is how he's looking with it so far with that extra round since last time. But yeah, so if you have suggestions for my hat, like to give my hat mannequin a name, feel free. Right now it's just, I guess, Mr. Head or something like that. Feel free to come with suggestions, of course, because it seems wrong not to say something like that. Hello, Helle. Lovely to see you. For the dear ladies here, Helle would be my mom, and she says she's doing good, everything considered. At least she had her PET scan today, this morning, and she is now awaiting for the doctors to go their round. And then she will have to leave, obviously, when the doctors come, because, yeah, as is. Andre, maybe. Andre or Andrea, or it could be used for both then. Andre, Andrea. Definitely worth considering. Definitely worth considering. I need some name. It just seems wrong to refer it to my mannequin head. It's like so unpersonal, and it is the same every time. It's not like it's a new one, so I think a name would be nice. That is what I think. Hello, Karen. I hope you're doing well, actually, this morning. Let's see. So we are back to the dual screen. I just need to flip it a bit around and move a little bit around on everything I have here. So we have the dual screen here. So I am up in the left corner. Oops, I don't know. I touched the wrong thing here on my light. So we go down. You can see a little bit of my, that was not the intention. Like that would be better, I think. Maybe. Like that, I think. So the yarn I'm using is this Seaman Como, for those being curious. So the Como here from Seaman is 3.5 ounce skein, 310 meters, so that's like 340-ish odd yards. 39% acrylic, 35% polyamide, and 26% polyester. It is a DK weight yarn. We're calling for a 4 to 5 millimeter crochet hook. I am using a 4 millimeter hook, and I am following Bag-O-Day's Spirograph Beanie pattern. And I'm currently in the repeating rounds. And I'm not really sure how many rows I have to do, but looking at my mannequin, Andre, could be a good name, Andre or Andrea. We definitely need more rounds. And I had this tiny hope we could finish it today, but I'm also trying to be realistic and saying it's probably not gonna happen. Even if I wanted to finish it, but it's probably just not gonna happen. Because of the simplicity that the rows take quite a bit to do, but we will see how far we get, and that is its only goal for today. We will get as far as possible, and yeah, whatever how far that is, I'll be fine. And Helle suggests to find a name that can be used both for a girl and a boy. That's also definitely an option. Kim, I know, is a very used, like in Denmark, Kim is mostly a boy's name, but I do believe Kim in the US is more like a girl's name mostly. But I don't know if the English native speakers also would use Kim for a male. But that could also be an option to find a name that could be doing both. It's quite nice actually. And the yarn here, I actually used to have it on my spindle, but somehow now I'm just working it from the outside. I should find my spindle again. It is the same, like it has this sort of copper thread, and that goes through all of the deep three colors, so it is sort of sparkly. You might be able to see it. I don't know if I can get it to sparkle on the camera, but it is sparkly. And I used to have it on my yarn spindle, so I'm just finding my yarn spindle for easiness. Karen says, can use Kim as both, but it's more often a girl's name. Valid, valid. Hello, the Dutchman's Woodchuck. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. This a Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon, depending obviously on where you are in the world. Did I get that? I did. So it is a quite simple pattern, this, once you get going, because it's like two double crochets together, and then it is a slanted first front post double crochet, but in the double crochet of the front post double crochet of the previous row, but one to the right, so to say. So it is quite simple, and I hope to eventually have this one finished, but I'm not really sure if I will reach it on this live. It can be that we will first be able to finish it on a live next week, but then that is just how it's gonna be. I am not pushing to finish. I'm just, working my pace. And the fact is, I am not a quick crocheter. I have to accept that, and definitely not when I'm chit-chatting with you guys. Except for that, I think it's been a good day. It's been productive. I am currently running the last clothing in the dryer, so that's nice. Getting all the things done I have to get done before my little weekend trip. I even found the yarn for this project I've planned to bring with me on the go, because I need something in the car. I think that's mainly though gonna be for, oops, that is mainly gonna be for the home way, because we are literally leaving in the middle of the night. That's gonna be way too dark for me to crochet. Or I should put a wish list on to have a neck lamp, I guess. But I just don't know if that's ideal for in the car. That would depend on the person driving, if they would be disturbed by the light or not, because in the end, the driver is the boss as to how the light could be, because it's obviously all about safety. So yeah, two double crochets together into one, and then the slanted front post double crochet. And the slanted first front post double crochet, I do a bit loosely to kind of stretch the stitch, and that is what creates this absolutely gorgeous spiral feeling. But you also have the feeling that it is crossing on the other side underneath. I think it is absolutely a gorgeous pattern, but it does take quite a bit to do. Simply also, it's a 3-weight yarn, so it's a patience project. This one, definitely a patience project. Yeah. So I have planned for my trip to bring with me a cake, and then I want to start on a new ultimate sacrifice shawl. Because I think it is a gorgeous shawl, and it's a pretty simple repeat once you have it going. So I have that planned. Hella says that my dad haven't complained the couple of times she used her own leg lamp when she's been driving, so that's good to know. So I may need to consider that. I definitely may need to consider it. Could put a neck lamp on my wish list. After all, I have a sort of delayed birthday to celebrate, though that might be changed due to circumstances, but we will see. Could still add it to my wish list regardless. Always good to have something to put onto the wish list, right? So yeah, it is. There's lots of things going on, but we finally finished moving my mom-in-law last weekend. And yesterday we went to get her some shelves, like a corner shelves for her toilet. She has a small toilet in her new apartment, and the toilet is separate from the bathroom, so it's just like a visitor's toilet, so to say, size-wise. And there isn't really places where you like can place toilet paper or something like that. So we bought a little corner shelf, so like a rounded corner shelf. So we need to find time to set that up, but we got and went that yesterday. So she has a little shelf in there, so she can put a few things to personalize the room a bit. So right now, what is mainly going on regarding the rehoming is mainly her needing to do the unpacking because she needs to know where she places the things, getting used to where she is. She already met some of her neighbors, all of them quite polite. But apparently she's also started, so she had found a nice spot to park her car. And one morning she had met one of the persons, and the person had found out it was her car standing there. And that person had literally said, "You have taken my parking lot," even though there isn't named parking lots there in this apartment complex. So it is a little bit like, yeah. So she was like, "Okay, I don't park there anymore because I don't want to have the hassle." And I'm just being like, there isn't names on the parking lots. Like it's not specifically reserved to her. It doesn't have her like her license plate marked saying this license plate only can be parked here or whatever. So um, yeah, it felt a little bit extreme to me, but I guess people get used to something and don't like if it gets taken. Oh, that was the same stitch I just was in before. I need to pay attention here. There it is. So, Karen suggests me some interchangeable names. In the US, we have Terry, Sam, Joe, Bobby, Kelly, Nikki, just to name a few. Sam could also work, I guess. Joe might also not be too bad. We could think of it, and then I could always like make a poll and be like, "Come on, let's name our mannequin." That could be a nice one. What to name Fred the Head? Also an option. Uh, I also want a real mannequin, like a body form one. But I don't really feel I have room for it right now. Then my partner said the other day, "Honey, I don't see really that you use your exercise bike enough. Maybe we should just sell it." And I'm like, a part of me is like, "Yeah, good idea." And a part of me is like, I probably should just use it actually instead of, right? But it takes up space, which is very valid in. And compared to the amount of times that I've been using it, it's maybe a bit of a wasted space it takes up. So that is on my contemplations. What to do with that in my guest room. Karen says she has a grandson named Sam, a grandson named Joe, and a sister-in-law named Joe. Yeah, it's about keeping track of them, I guess. And Joe and Joe sound so much the same. It's just a question if there's an E on or not. Hope I haven't butchered any names meanwhile. Let's see, where are we? This is there, this is there. I have the feeling we are in the same shade now, right now. Overlaying a little bit. Cool. Last time, I actually inserted a stitch mark at the start of the round to help me keep track. Maybe I should do that again. Take care, Hella. Yeah. So we will see. My mom told me yesterday that they will keep her at the hospital for at least until tomorrow, but it's still not sure that she will be discharged. It depends, basically. I have had a good feeling with her actually remaining there because the specialists are there, and given the fact that they have, over the last 2 weeks, of different times, removed close to like 2 gallons of moisture. I just feel it more comfortable at ease that she's actually close to the doctors than being at home, to be honest. Um, so we will see how far we get today. Joseph is Joe for short. Joanne is for girl or short for Josephine. Yeah, that could be too. So they do similar things. So here in the Netherlands, they do quite Catholic names. Like theoretically, my partner is Catholic, except he's never really gone to church and stuff like that. But in this region, they're a bit more Catholic, and they use really like Latin names or Catholic names. So that would be, instead of Matthew, it would be Matthäus. Does that make sense? Or it would be instead of Christian, it would be Christianos. Or so in my case, my partner's name is Arno. That is his calling name, and the shortening for his real first name, which is like Arnaldus, which is like, try imagine having to call for him doing that full name. So I'm really, really happy they use abbreviations for those long front names here in the Netherlands. My own name is also actually an abbreviation, but that said, um, I'm quite happy that, well, quite happy. I'm not sure. It's so my name is Tina, right down there in the, it's on the screen. And my nickname is well, obviously I put that the wrong direction because you get me. So Stina is the nickname, which is not really my nickname because it is actually my given name, but it is the nickname for Christine. But they just turned that into a full name in Denmark. So that is my given name. It is in my passport even. So Stina would be my full name. And it's quite common in Denmark to, like, Stina is a well used first name. I guess it's easier to call and to spell, and everything. So if you need to be able to pronounce my name, Stine, it's just like Christine. So yeah, Stine. At least that's what I usually tell people when they're in doubt. So we are more than halfway around this first row. That will be the first row since we started the live. And if you have any questions or the like, feel free to answer. I would say feel free to ask, and I will try to answer as good as possible. Oh, you're welcome. So Stine is my given name, and it is based off Christine. Christine is then off Christian, which is basically a reference of being Christian, I guess. But yeah, not really thought much about it. It's just what my parents decided to name me. In fact, it's what my dad wanted to name me. So when I was born many years ago, my parents weren't married. Quite opposite what was quite classic if you got children in Denmark. My parents weren't married, and they were fine not being married. They first got married later due to practical things, not so much because they believed in needing to be married to have have a good life, but more like to the government practicalities of marriage. Um, and then I would automatically, due to Danish law back then, be given my mother's name, my mother's surname. And my dad were fine with me getting my mom's surname and so on. So my middle name, my surname is family name is from my mother's side. Um, he wanted to decide my first name, my calling name, and henceforth my dad decided that I should be named Stine, and here I am being named Stine. Um, that is the story of my name, I guess. When they told my grandparents, they were like, "Oh, but that's such an old name. You shouldn't use that." Because I guess 50 years earlier, it was a quite common name as well, if that makes sense. So it's like, but I think you'll see that everywhere in the world, that children names get very popular for a period, and then they become less popular because another name becomes really popular, and they kind of go in cycles. Like every so many years, a new name gets back and becoming popular. Because there were another girl in the class of the same age group as I was in. She was also named Stina, so I know quite a few people actually with this name of my around my age. So, but I like the idea of having a name for the head that could be both male and female, because I don't think my mannequin head per se looks like an either or, right? It's pretty neutral. It could be both. So we can definitely consider making a poll and have people vote for the head of the mannequin. So, what are you ladies working on today, or gentlemen for that matter? What are you working on today? Or are you just hanging out with your morning coffee, waking up? That is absolutely fine as well. I will be here for a few hours, at least that is what I've planned. And we will see how far we get on this hat. If we finish it, that is amazing. And if we don't, I'll be fine just as well. Oh, that was a half double and not a double. Now it's a double. Karen says, my daughter is due to have my first and only granddaughter in May. Congratulations on her pregnancy for both. And I'm going to suggest her to suggest Christina and call her Stina. I have 8 grandsons and they will be my one and only granddaughter. Oh, I have to say, 8 grandsons is quite a feat. Like statistically, it's quite impressive if you hadn't gotten any granddaughters before this one on the way. And Karen has been working on a baby blanket and a mini scroll, I assume, for your upcoming granddaughter. And I would say thank you for the name suggestion. I'm humbled. I've gotten used to the name, and over time, I kind of like my name. In the beginning, I guess as a child, I wished I had been named something more unique. But that would again be everything is unique for the country you're in, right? Because I have the feeling that everybody not from Scandinavia feels that my name is unique. Sarah say, just woke up again about half an hour ago working on a spring card. He ended up having to frog what I had done for the second panel. I started at Owen the other day and I'm almost finished the second. Oh, congratulations on that. Well, sorry that you had to frog it, but awesome that you're almost getting it finished. I see that the poll I had placed on my community tab for my next drops project likely says I have to make another poncho, which is fine. But given how everything is looking right now, that will first be in sometime in March, and I don't even know when in March because, well, a few other things a bit more important taking precedence. Let's see. I actually have the starting row here. I just need to get this one settled. Then I need to find that's down here. This really spins on me. That first stitch of the row. Instead, what I really should do, and I did that last time, and I really should just do it again. I say whatever, is that extra stitch marker. I have this lovely little box. It used to be peppermints in it. I washed it, and now it is my stitch marker collection. Or what would be more correct to say, it is the stitch marker collection I have, which I'm currently using for projects. And I don't know even why I search a specific one, but I just happen to. So we have that one ready because now I'm going to start the new round. So first we chain one because that is how we start the round. And in that same stitch, we work in at double crochet. And at the top of this double crochet, I will insert the stitch marker to help me keep track for when I need to slip stitch into it at the end of the row. And meanwhile, we'll get some more yarn off my yarn spindle. Kind of curious. I did bring my weight scale. I don't think I need to play yarn chicken, but I do have my weight in case we do need to play yarn chicken. Just because. So we are heading into the second round during this live. And we will see how far we get. I should have checked how much or how many rows I need to do, how many inches it needs to be long. Thank you. It's quite nice. I'm quite happy with it actually. It's really looking good. Hello, dust bunnies. Lovely to see you. Trying to tidy up a little. Need to get something chill and pleasant to listen to. So thank you for being here. Well, I'm very welcome. I absolutely hate the house chores of cleaning, but I have been a good girl today. I've done some laundry, which I'm fine with. I don't mind washing clothes. Washing them, hanging them up, no problem. Folding them, on the other hand, is tedious. And that is mainly when it comes to folding socks and underwear. I absolutely need good company when I have to do that. Or I end up just postponing it. maybe I'll end up calling people again. Like, like sometimes I'll just call a friend and have a chat with them while I actually do the actual chore folding. It's like using the time, I guess, in a sort of productive way, if that makes sense. Folding laundry, in particular socks and underwear, is like the worst. Keeping track of the socks, um, which goes with what? Karen enjoys doing laundry but hate doing dishes. So Karen, I have a great solution for the dishes. The thing is, I'm the one that cooks, and I absolutely hate cleaning up after I've been doing the cooking because, well, when I've had my food, like when you cook a warm meal, you tend to eat it pretty close to it being cooked, right? And when I've done that, I just want to enjoy the meal. And once I've enjoyed the meal, I'd like to just relax afterwards, not needing to worry to clean kitchen or whatever. So the deal I have with my partner is I do the cooking, he does the cleaning after, and that includes the dishes in the dishwasher. I empty the dishwasher, fine, but I don't even fill the dishwasher unless I know it's something that I can easily fill. And here, by this I mean I know where the glasses are placed, etc. But he's the one that enjoys the Tetris of the dishwasher. And in 90% of the cases, if I fill the dishwasher, he tends to move my things around that I placed in it because it's not placed well enough, or you should be able to squeeze more in here, or whatever. So I just don't bother. And he does the dishes. So he's doing that great. So that's a deal. I cook. I don't complain about cooking. He basically never cooks. He will, like, if I ask him to turn on something or do something, he will do that nicely for me if I ask him kindly. But in general, he doesn't do anything related to cooking. That's my task, but he does the cleaning afterwards, including the dishes. And that is a great deal to have, trust me. It's called sharing the workload, I guess. Um, that said, I do all the laundry. He does sometimes help me folding the socks. That is when, especially when I've postponed it for too long. But the dishes, he will do for me, kind as he is, and he doesn't actually even complain about doing it either. So that is our home deal. I cook, he cleans up after me. I need to try to not just make a mess of it, and I do try to sort of semi-clean it a bit while I'm busy. But some things, like you can't clean while you're cooking because you're actually using them, and well, he'll clean up after me, after my mess, because sometimes I can make a mess. And that also, he will also clean up after me if I've been baking a cake. I'll do like the quick cleaning of it, but putting it in the dishwasher again, his task, because I'm not doing it good enough. So that's just how it is. He's the Tetris guy, and I'm the cook. He also swears that he can't cook, but it's a lie because he can actually bake a pretty good schnitzel. That said, if he ever cooks, which like happens once in 1,000 days, I have to do the dishes. Sarah says, jealous, can't wait until I have a dishwasher. Absolutely hate hand washing dishes. Our dishwasher broke last autumn, and we did have to hand wash the dishes for 2 days, and we absolutely hated it. I did help at that time because that would be the most fair. And it took a few days, and we realized, okay, last time it broke down, which is like a year ago, he could fix it. This time it was like, I'm not gonna bother even trying to fix it because it's the same issue and it's reoccurred and it's getting old. So he bought us a new dishwasher instead. Karen says, sounds like her and her husband. I beg your Karen begs her husband not to cook. Sorry, not sorry. My husband cannot cook. Even toast is a mystery to him. Oh my goodness. So that goes black, I'll imagine. That would be like fried toast, burnt toast, not roasted toast or toasted toast. Burnt toast doesn't sound nice. He also does the dishes. Yeah, so it sounds like indeed we have a similar deal. A part of me doing the cooking was also and is also, well, um, it used to be also because I was always home first, so that would make sense that I did the cooking the food because then when he got home from work we could eat. Then I had my job. Um, I had 3 years of corporate job, but I was working out of home. But that job first finished at 6 in the afternoon, so like at dinner time, and you couldn't start cooking while I was working because my working room was kind of like in one big room as the kitchen. Um, so that was like my working office and kitchen and living room and everything in one big room, and therefore you wouldn't start cooking because that would be disturbing. Um, so therefore it would still make sense that I kept cooking and he still kept cleaning after it, which I'm fine with. It's worked fine. And still does. So I guess why change something that's functional? And do not forget to hydrate. So I'm not sure if Nightbot is telling you to, but else I will kindly tell you to. Not forget to take a sip of your coffee, tea, lemonade, whatever you have next to you, water for that matter. Um, I think mine is cold enough to actually drink from it now. It is. It's still warm, but it is definitely drinkable. Um, yeah, I see that I do have a message. Okay, maybe I should actually check up on that because some people know, some people don't know, but my mother is unfortunately currently admitted to the hospital, and I am keeping track of her. And I see she's sending me an update because she just spoke to the doctor. Let's see. Whoa. So I am just quickly gonna read that because of course I'd like to know that, and I do apologize, but I am sure you all understand the situation. At least so far you have expressed your wishes. So I'm just gonna check before continuing. I do apologize. I see more people writing me, but that's gonna be later. Okay, she's going to remain at the hospital to on earliest at Friday, in the hope that they have all the answers from the tests she's done, and so that they hopefully can plan any treatment planned, or maybe Saturday. So, yeah, she's. It sounds weird. She's doing better than she was, even though she's technically on paper more sick than she was when she felt awful, but that was because we didn't know what was wrong. Um, but she's doing pretty good actually, and I think she's doing better than the people around her. So that would be like my dad, especially my dad. He's pretty broken. Um, and right now we're just praying for the best outcome for a treatment plan. And I'm telling myself that um, they have improved so much the last 20, 30 years. So what maybe 20 years ago was impossible is possible today. Um, so I am trying to remain positive, and that's all I can do. And we will have to see. And that is also why, yeah, it's fine. Um, I kind of like if she's able to remain until they have a treatment plan settled for her, because it is quite a bit of a drive. My parents' house is about 45 minutes drive, maybe 50 almost, but at least 45 from the hospital where she's admitted right now. And my dad isn't the youngest either anymore, so if anything happens and she's not feeling well, yeah, that's just not ideal. So right now she's just at the right place in the best care, and we'll hope and pray that there will come a good treatment plan, and that's the only thing we can do right now. So a wish or two, or a prayer or two, is everything what I ask for. She might watch in the background. She could also be that she's taking a rest right now. She did ask my dad to bring her tablet to the hospital, and she just sometimes, she was in here at the very early of the stream, hanging out with us until the doctors came. So every day, the doctors go around and have this update, and what their intentions are. And she was told yesterday that the earliest she would get discharged would be Thursday. And today she was told the earliest would be Friday, in the hope that they have test results and be able to make a treatment plan for her. Then we'll have to see how that goes from here. Sarah sends her prayers. Karen says, sorry, till she has prayers coming from the US, keep a positive attitude. It's very important to well-being and healing. It definitely is. I think she has a positive attitude. We are rather optimistic in the sense of, like, she still has humor, she still has passion for life. I think that's the most important in this situation. And then we're just basically hoping for the best, because there's still so many unknown factors right now as to the possibility of treatment. So that is basically what we're waiting on. Let's see. And we need to crochet 2 together. I am definitely getting quicker at this. Repeat. But yeah, so I will definitely have to go to Denmark more often at the coming time, and we will see how and what. So far, I am heading there in exactly 2 weeks. I'll be flying home. And then we'll have to take it from there, basically. Not much more we can do. Which means, in that event, you will likely see some videos from, if everything goes, if I have time, everything depends, but if I have time, then you might see some videos from the Danish hobby store in the city of Roskilde, because that is a short walk from the hospital where my mom is admitted. And I'm unsure if she will have to be admitted during treatment, or if they expect her to be able to go home between treatments, or what's gonna happen. We will have to see. But more importantly is that the doctors will have a plan, hopefully. We are almost finished the next row of this. Starting to look more and more like a hat. Karen says she doesn't understand how I can crochet and chat. I'm a multitasker by personality, I guess. I will have to say, while I'm chatting with you guys, I'm trying to keep track on chat. I am not crocheting as fast as I normally would, and I'm still not a fast crocheter by any means, but I'm definitely right now not as fast crocheting as I normally would be, just because I'm also trying to keep track of the chat. And and Karen loves when I take us to our yarn store. So the thing is, this yarn store would not be my normal yarn store because I've only ever shopped from Hobby online. So Hobbii Hobby, the Danish brand Hobby. They have a store not far from where the hospital is. It's like a 20 minutes walk. So if I'm there and I'll run out of yarn while I'm there, shopping is close by. Because I'm sure I will need to spend time on something. And my mom can also chat and do crafty works if she is in the mood for it. Which I don't know if she is, but we will have to see. It's a truck driving by, and it was rather large, and it had the sunbeam on it, so it just blinded me from the window I have on this side. Ah, la 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 la. Because I will definitely need to bring some kind of project with me. I wouldn't be able to be weeks upon weeks and have nothing practical to do. And I need to consider how to bring it, because I'm of course afraid they will take my tools, my crochet hooks and so on in the airport. So I need to consider how I can do that. Or I'll just bring a cheap one. And then if it gets taken, too bad. And I put the more expensive one in my luggage. I could do that. And then find a project where I don't need scissors. Or I could try travel with my foldable ones and see if they will allow those through customs. Well, it's not really customs, right? It's more like the security I'm worried about. And I'm not a crazy terrorist, so but that doesn't mean that the airport doesn't do crazy things for that department. How are you? The Dutchman's Wood Shack. I hope you're having a great morning. At this pace, I'm doing about half an hour for a round. It still makes me think it's not going to happen today to be finished, but we can see. What I'm suggesting right now is that I'll do another round. So then we have 3 rounds in total, and we can have a look to see if my Headley friend, Kim, Joe, Chris, need to find him a name. Her, him, it. Need to find it a name. That would be so much better, I think. Maybe that I should take up for my yarn talk on Friday. Ask for suggestions. We'll make a poll and we'll go look for a name for it. That is a good idea, I think. Let's see. That's not the right stitch. Oh my goodness. Maybe that one is. Sort of. Karen says, don't have any yarn stores near me. You should be okay with your hooks and yes, foldable scissors, but I would make my plain hooks be the cheaper set. But you shouldn't have any problems. Would be nice indeed if I have no problems. And I don't really have stores near me as such, like awesome stores. I have some stores, but they're not like close. I will have to drive to get there. The ones in the city center is more like value stores, so it's more like value yarn. Not far from. It's funny, it has a little bit of tendency of gapping, and then not really. So it's just more like value yarns. They sometimes have some awesome yarns though in between those value stores. I have to give them that. And I do like this hat, so I'm probably at some stage gonna attempt it again, because this hat is not turning out to be the size of me. So I will have to use a different hat for it. Or a different, I'll have to adapt something to, if I want to have a hat like in this pattern fitting me, I'll definitely have to adapt a bit, but that's all right. Sometimes we just need to keep the process. That's what Susan told me last week. Just mind the process, you'll be fine. So that is what I'm doing. Minding the process and I'll be fine. But it's definitely a small medium rather than a medium large or large hat. I would have needed either more stitches on the round or, yeah, probably more stitches on the round. This is the Spirograph Beanie. It's designed by Bag-O-Day Crochet. I linked to this, the tutorial she made in the description box down below. So if you look down there, you should be able to find a link to her video on it. It is made in a DK weight yarn. I've seen some absolutely gorgeous photos of them being made in, for example, Lion Brand's mandala yarn or something along that thickness. I do have that yarn. Well, I have a similar yarn, which I'm quite sure is the same as the Lion Brand mandala, up in my stash. But I had this single skein laying around waiting for a purpose. And I had the feeling it would work great for this pattern, which I think it does. It works really up nicely. Size-wise, my tension might be a little bit too tight. So it's not gonna be able to fit me as a person, but there are people that could be happy with it, so that's probably the least of my concerns right now. Then I learned some things, which I then okay, Jolio, I have a phone call, so please hang on for a moment. I'll be back with you.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Godspeed to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild.
So, I am back. Thank you for your patience while it lasted. I was just getting an update from my dad regarding my mom. Kind as he is. And I see my messages is flying up about work stuff, but that is going to be afterwards. So, not now. Where is my stitch? There it is. I did cheat a bit. I did, while I was talking on the phone, I did complete a few repeats here, like maybe this much. Because, as I said, now I reserve the time to be with you guys, hanging out with you guys, and crocheting. Susanna, I still think it's small. I don't think we will fit each other, so to say. Me and the hat. But we can have a look. Once I've done this row, I will have a new test fit. And if it's tight on my mannequin head, I can tell you it's a lot tighter on my head because there is like probably an inch difference, if not more, on the circumference. Let's see. I actually don't know how much that would be in inches, but I do have my double measuring thing. My circumference is like 22 inches, and I think the head is like more 21, maybe 50.5, something, 2/4, whatever. I'll have to test, but that's what I'm saying. If it's snug on the head, it's very snug on me. But I'm fine if I'm not able to fit it because I'm actually not a big beanie person, as in wearing them. I'm more a headband type of person. So I guess I'll be fine in that event. I don't, everything I make, I'm not intentionally making that for myself. Some of the things I do, but not all of them. Some of my makes I've donated as well. Some makes I've sold in the past. But we are like about a bit less than half away on this round. And then once we are fully around, we will check how it's fitting our head. I could also test fit it, but I think making it fit the test head first is more sensible because, as I said, if that has a really tight fit, then my fit will also be really tight. Because that will be even tighter. Is the logic, at least. So we will do a test fit soon. I do like how the coloring is turning out though. So that means that if I really, if I really want to, I could make a larger version. So if I was using the same yarn, then I know that I would have to add 1 or 2 more starting stitches. And that should increase the overall size, and I should be fine with that. So instead of having 14 double crochets in the first round, if I then would do 15 or 16, the size would increase, right? Because the stitches you have here, we increased a few times already. So if you increase by 1, we should have like a few more here on its own. Actually, that's 1. Oh, I'm not gonna count. But regardless, if I increase by an extra stitch in the starting round, the bean itself should be a little bit bigger. So that is probably what I will do if I reuse this yarn. And I do have more yarn of this in my stash. Well, not as a skein, that's caked up instead. But I do have more of this type of yarn. And else, if I bump into the yarn in one of the value stores, I can always just get a skein and make it. I'm tempted to, of course, because it could be possible. But I'll have to check the yarn stores for that. Because I haven't decided what I'm using. So as I said, this yarn I once compared with some ice yarns cakes that I bought, and this yarn is basically the same as those cakes, but I haven't really made a decision if I want to use those cakes for a sweater. Maybe I could do that, or a cardigan, poncho, instead of just hats. But more importantly, I have been learning while doing this. And that is every project I work with, I learn somehow, and I learn things, and I try to adapt that. Sometimes I even adapt it in a such way that I think it's improved. So, and then we will need to find a new project to work on once this hat is finished. I actually like having these live projects. It makes sense, you know, like it's pretty settled what I'm going to be working on before the live starts. So that's definitely worth considering, having some sort of live project I can work on. As we talked about a while ago, I want to make the heart collector shawl. I have the yarn for it, but I will need to split some of it up and cake it up and stuff like that to actually do it. And I've just not gotten that far yet. So it's, oops, that was supposed to be 2 together and not a single double crochet. So like that, 2 together. But the thought of having to cake up these yarns is kind of all right, I guess, but it's more like it's more work. I also have some hanks. Like I have some hand dyed hanks. I think could make the most gorgeous hats as well. I just need to sit down and do it. But that is for future me and not for today. So I'm 100% superwash merino wool hand dyed. I have in my stash. Bit like an Aran weight. And they could make some really, really gorgeous hats, I think. Both knitted and crocheted. That said, I don't knit that much, so if I would go ahead and knit them, I would definitely want to practice my knitting before using that yarn for it, because expensive yarn deserves no frocking if possible, and it kind of needs some respect and honor given to the work put into the yarn, I think. That is my humble opinion. Let's see, we're really getting there. So we are starting on the last stitch repeat of the row. So that is 2 doubles. And then it is 2 doubles worked together into one. That is always where I have to pay a little attention. Like that. We lose a stitch a bit to do the slanted front post. And then that flipped around like that, didn't it? It did. We slip stitch into that of the previous row. So we have now completed 3 rows since we started this live. Wow. And I have a feeling every row is really going quicker and quicker. So what I'm gonna do quickly is just to change the view. But before I'm doing that, I need to do like that. I do apologize quickly for the lesser camera view. I see you have part of my lampshade here. Somehow it's not the best occurring. Oh, it's this one, of course. Hey, like that. This is where we are at this place. It looks good. Getting up here, maybe it's not gonna be too bad. Our friendly head gets to do a pre-fitting. It does need a little bit of pushing, so it's still a little tight, I would say. I still think it's closer to a small medium than it is to a medium large, but I think it's progressing well. You can actually see it looks like a hat. This would be your top look. Ta-ta. Or we can do it if I flip the screen, we go down here. That would be a bit closer view and a bit, I guess, better screen. I think it's looking pretty good, yeah. I am. But it is tight on the head. It is tight. So it works on this head, but working on me, I think my head is too big. So if I want to have it, I would need to, I don't want to, but I would literally have to frog it, and then I think just add a starting stitch more here. That will be fine. So instead of starting with 14, you start with 15 and you do the same amount of repeats around. And that would work it out to be this. So that would be fine. That is my pro experience that I will probably need maybe 2, but 1 would definitely make a difference. The big question is actually how far I need to do this, but I still need a few rows. I'm quite sure of that. The real question is how many rows I would need to add to it. This is the amount of yarns we have left. I could just for fun, not that I don't think we do need to play yarn checking, but I do have my kitchen skill. I do apologize for it being a little bit dirty. We are, I hope that, oh, I see. It was not aligned rightly. I was like, how can I have used that much already? I have the feeling I'm about halfway through this game. Let's see. Yeah, 55 grams. So I've used, no, 45. I've used 55 and I've 45 left. Should be more than enough to finish it up. Should be more than enough. Hello, Patty. Welcome to this live. This is the Seemann Como from Seemann, which is a Dutch/German store, value store. They have lots of value yarns. Usually it's just mainly acrylics. This yarn is mixed yarn. There is no wool in it, so it's 100% synthetical man-made yarn. It is 39% acrylic, 35% polyamide, and 26% polyester. 100 grams to 3.5 ounces to 320 meters, which is about 340 some odd yards. DK weight yarn. Absolutely agree with it. It's gorgeous. It has this nice shade to it. So we will continue on that. Susan also suggests I could use a larger hook. I could definitely also do that and up the hook to like 4.5 millimeter instead of the 4 millimeters. Oh, interesting. Susan says she's gotten Seemann yarn from the Mary Maxim mystery bags. But yeah, the Seemann yarns, they are made, this yarn also is made in Turkey. And I said I have some ice cakes upstairs in my stash, which is basically the same yarn. I linked to that description box here down below as well. For those that want to see the comparison between this skein I have here right here and those cakes, just for the curiosity. You can have a look at that later if you feel like it. I think it was also a one-time off they had it at ice because I haven't seen those cakes there since. And I got them at a really good price. I think I paid like $3 per cake. Like, not always when I buy yarns from ice, it's not always a guaranteed cheaper option for me. Depends on the yarn, and it depends on the alternatives, because some of the yarns I know other yarn brands have, and if I buy those yarns from those brands instead, with shipping and importing and everything, I'm more often cheaper off buying the real name brand, so to say, um, rather than the one from Ice. But in this case, it was actually opposite. For once, Ice had a better deal. But that's fair. I'm kind of used to needing to check that. I'm fine with that. So I always, depending on what I'm looking for, compare alternatives. And lately, I've really had the itch to buy yarn, but I haven't yet. So I've not added any yarn in February to my stash. I'm pretty proud of that. I am pretty proud of that. Especially given my project of decreasing my stash. I am progressing. I'll give you an update on that on Monday, by the way. A full update on how February's decrease has gone. There should be a video out on that on Monday. Patty says, remember when you went through all your stash tote by tote? That was very fun. Loved seeing all your beautiful yarn, especially your Stanley cakes. Yes, yes. I can definitely go through all my totes again, but I'm afraid they haven't changed by an awful lot. Some of them have. Some of them has had some adding. But generally they are very close to what they were because I did not like I decreased my yarn buying in the autumn a bit. As a few obvious reasons, I lost my job, which has now caused me a lot less stress. So that's not too bad in that sense, except for the lack of income. But also there is a spatial issue. I need to be able to store it. And right now, all my totes and yarn is still kind of stored. Like, if I would all stack it, it would look pretty similar. So we are trying to increase the total amount of yarn I have. That is my goal this year. But I could definitely tour it again. I did actually add some new muffins to it. But I haven't moved around and sorted that yarn for a bit. I don't really have the time to do that right now either, but I know where it is, and it's within a meter of one another. Susan says, most recently my Maxim Mystery bags had Rico Design, basic acrylic DK yarn label. Doesn't say where it was made. Rico Design is a German yarn. It's a German brand. I don't know where they make their basic acrylic DK yarns though from Rico Designs, but Rico Design is a German brand. I have a Rico Design Wonder Ball in my stash, so that's a woolen yarn, so that's like they're very similar to Hobby's Winter Glow yarns, if that makes any sense. Oh, wait. Is this the correct stitch? Just one moment, ladies. One moment, please. I need to do that. No, that wasn't the right stitch. So that is why I almost added an extra stitch, I guess, to this row. Need to pay attention. And then a little bit more like there. So I have, but generally Rico designs are expensive yarns too. They're not cheap. They have some of the smallest ever seen cotton cakes. They're miniature. I guess intended for amigurumis or something like that. I just wouldn't want to pay for it unless it's on sale. So of course that's a win if you got it in a mystery bag, I think. But yeah, I have one of those, and it's a quite nice yarn actually. The Wonder Ball I have from them. I wanted to make a cowl with it. I only have the single Wonder Ball, so it does do a little limitation on how much you can make. But yeah, I wanted to make a cowl of that. But I do need to find time for doing that as well. More projects for when project ideas are growing, right? Plenty of them. I also think some of my Stanley cakes could be awesome for also the Ultimate Sacrifice shawl. I think the Ultimate Sacrifice is such a gorgeous shawl. And looking from a YouTube point of perspective, it's definitely the yarn that are the eye catchers that like tends to get the most views as well. And then I'm like looking at the cake I have just in front of me, which I'm going to bring with me on my trip this weekend. And that is going to be such an eye catch as well. I should show it to you guys. Just a short break. A short break, and I will move my head a bit, sorry, and my tea, and show you this absolutely gorgeous cake. And this light is not really doing it justice. It's maybe a bit better. The center here is more pink, so it's purple. This is really, the purple here looks good. And then it goes into a little bit more like a fuchsia purple. To the lighter, it's more like a lilac here, before it then goes baby pink, and the very center it's white. This might be the best we can do, actually. And I'm trying to find my screen. It's a gorgeous cake. Let's see. Yeah. And of this, I'm going to make the Ultimate Sacrifice. My thought were to start on the outer side and then just work in as we get further out on the shawl. That was my thought for this. I can't find out which is right or wrong. But I do think I have some more white in the same yarn weight upstairs if I'll be short. We'll have to see. But that was my thought, to take this and turn this into the ultimate sacrifice. It is Yana Rose Garden, 250 grams, 100% cotton, 1,000 meters, so 1,093 yards, 8.8 ounces. Colorway 321, for those being curious. Gorgeous. We are gonna make a shawl out of that. And I'm intentionally doing a shawl, and intentionally the ultimate sacrifice, once it's going, it's a simple repeat to remember. So it's actually quite good for a car ride. Where the Ceylon tea shawl that I'm currently working on, I'm not sure if that's good for the car right now, because every row I will look at the pattern being like, okay, what's next? Which is not bad because it turns out a beautiful shawl from it, but because it's not a simple straightforward repeat as ultimate sacrifice, I'll do the ultimate sacrifice when I'm on the go. So I'll start that. Which means that, of course, in March, I hope we have some more cakes finished in my stash. In my stash updates. We'll have to see how it's all going while busting through my stash here. And I've been tempting on buying some handmade cakes as well. I've been looking at various stores and I'm like, yes, please. And I'm like, no, please use some yarns first. Just save the website for when you have a budget to shop yarn, and that's it. Which is hard. Especially like, I think in 2023, on average, I was probably shopping yarn once a week, once every 2 weeks. Yes, Susan, I did the ultimate sacrifice back in the autumn, where I used a Halloween cake, Dahlia Halloween from Hobby. The rose garden cake here is larger than the cake I used back then, so this shawl should be bigger. And I could maybe use a Sender white, but it feels better just to work on it from one end to the end. And I think making it lighter is still nice, so I'll start with the darker colors in the center and I'll just have it working out to the lighter colors. I've kind of made that decision. In the end, I'll first know how it looks once it's done, right? So that was quite awesome, actually, the ultimate sacrifice back then. That really looked great. but it is starting to look nice. I like this. I definitely do. And I feel I'm gonna use more of the yarn than I thought I would in the beginning also. That's fine. Regardless if we'll finish it today or not. That is definitely fine. I also received, I ordered a pair of new winter boots. A bit late, given the fact that it's spring on Sunday, technically seen. So not based on weather, but based on March is spring month. And spring is just around the corner. Saturday, actually, it's spring. But they were on sale. I got 40% discount on a brand new set of winter boots. So I was like, they'll be fine next winter as well. So who cares? And I actually did need them for a bit because I tried my old winter boots a month ago, and I was like, oh darn, they don't sit very well anymore, and they're they need replacement. But I've been looking and holding back, and I'm like, okay, but the weather is kind of okay. I don't need winter boots right now. And now I saw them, and I was like, okay, get them. They're a discount. Patty says this pattern is probably a yarn hog. Well, yeah, seems like it. Others said that they used less yarn than they thought they would. I have the feeling it's using a bit more, but not like a lot more. But of course, there are also more stitches on the round. And it is thinner, and I am using a smaller hook than I normally would make a beanie with. But I think it's working up nicely still. We're almost at the end of this. I could choose to ruin my hairdo and test it on my real head, but trust me, it will be tight. It will be tight if I do so. You tell me. Because in this case, I can't really say I need X amount of rows because it's not completely working up as the normal hat do. So I'll probably need to measure it. I have a chart saying expected size. For expected sizes. Maybe I need to consider finding my charts. We just have a few repeats left. So double crochet, 2 double crochets together, and then the slanted front post, which is in that previous. So not just the one below, but in the previous. I do really like this sort of crossed feeling it gives. Like, if you look at it, it looks like it's also crossing under here. Oh, goodness. So Patty says she lives in Alabama. Last week it was 17 degrees Fahrenheit. Today it's 75. Like, 75 is summer here. 17 is cold, but 75 is like summer in my optics. Actually, we do have this lovely weather forecast. So I can do weather And you can do zip code or your local city. I'll usually use the city of Nijmegen because it's a little bit bigger. Then I'm sure it's in the system. And it would say it is a 51 degrees Fahrenheit here outdoors. So that is about 11 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from southwest at 11 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 55. And it is sunny here. It is sunny. Weather for New Jersey, conditions are sunny with a temperature of 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind is blowing from west-northwest at 10 miles per hour. So that's pretty similar to ours. Humidity is 56. It says partly cloudy for us, but I swear you, if I look out the window right now, the sun is shining. And for once, I'm not even cold, actually. Which is kind of nice. Whoa! Mary Maxim sells the Spirograph Beanie kit. I'm not surprised because I do think crystal does work with Mary Maxims on certain things. Let's see. The kit is $9.99. I think that's nice. That's not too bad. Let's see. Slip stitching. Here we go. One more round complete. I really like this sort of like when you stretch it a bit, you see the underlaying as well. But we aren't there yet, quite sure. Now it's more like a baby hat. I had this. I'm just looking at my computer to see if I can find it. I did have this document indicating beanie sizes, but it's a while ago. Is it this long ago? Apparently it is. There it is. Let's see if it will open. Ah, that's why it's not happy. Apparently my computer had gone wireless rather than using the actual cable, so I just cabled it up. Okay. So my circumference at small, so teen to adult small, which is the width of the crown. The hat height to teen/small should be 7.5 to 8 inches according to this. So we need a few more rows, that's for sure. Because down here where my fingers are would be the 8 inches. But we knew that. We knew we were not that close. But what we could do just for fun, but I'm quite sure I am right, is if I switch the camera stream to my pretty face full screen. Again, sorry, it is a lesser quality camera. I can test it, but I'm quite sure this is not going to fit my head. You should be able to hear me still, just a bit more distant because my microphone is now down there. And I'm gonna ruin my hairdo, probably. But this is tight. Like, if I didn't have ears, it would be fine, but it still kind of pops up on top. So this is This is not a Stina fit. It's not a Stina fit. I think that is a quick conclusion. So yeah, I'm still saying it is a tight snug fit. On my head mannequin, which is more like a size small, I think it fits pretty nice. So yeah, we are a teenager size / size small. But I really love this texture. It's gorgeous. Coloring is pretty nice too. But yeah, as I said, we do have a few more rows to go. We need another 2 inches. We could for fun count how far that will be. 2 inches is like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's like 4 or 5 rows at least. That's not gonna be today. Being totally realistic. Need to jump back to the right screen again. Need not to forget. But we need to add at least 4, maybe 5 more rows. And I have another bit more than an hour available here before I gotta run. And I cannot reach to finish it today. But that means that we know for sure it should finish next week. And then, you know, once we're done with the beanie, we'll probably just pick up any projects I have playing that still needs some working, which is fine. I'm okay with it not finishing in per se today. It would have been cool if it did, but reality says me that it's not. And I can accept that. I can accept that. That's kind of scary because I haven't really been having much time this week to crochet, and this weekend I didn't either because of the rehoming. But I'm also so glad that we have the majority of that done. It's behind my back. Tomorrow will be the first dinner at my mom-in-law's new place, where she's actually also done the cooking. We did eat there this weekend, but that was takeaway. For the easiness and the stress of the rehoming, of course. But having her moved is really nice for sure. Yeah. Time to think about new projects. Also time to think about what project would be great to bring with me My idea would probably be to make a shawl on the go, because that's one cake, so I don't need to keep track of multiple skeins. That would make really good sense. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, so far this is progressing nicely. If you hear some funky background noises, it would be me leaning on the table, I guess. I could also do, that was not a bad idea either, putting you a bit closer so I can sit a bit differently. That would be nice for my shoulders. That would be nice for my shoulders. My shoulders say they need a little bit more relaxation. I was tensing up a little bit when I was sitting with my elbows on the table. Maybe if I have too much yarn left here on this skein, I could consider making a pom-pom when I'm done to add to the beanie. That's a thought that's crossed my mind. I could consider that. Though somehow I feel that the fluffy pom-poms would be nicer than the ones made of yarn due to how this yarn is. Because if I really look at the yarn and the yarn texture here, it's a bit like a blown yarn actually. Yeah, it's a blown yarn. So I'm not sure if the pom-pom made of this yarn would be good, because it's a blown yarn. So you can't make it multiple strands. The strands of the pom-pom will remain this thickness. Not the thickest yarn though either. But it being a blown yarn, I'm not sure how a pom-pom would look in blown yarn. Have you ever done pom-poms in blown yarn? Let me know. And else I may just have it a little bit pending and then add a pom-pom once I obtain a pom-pom of a color that would really be nice to go with this. definitely open for suggestions. But as I said, we will have to finish this one on the next live, because the amount of rows we still have to go before it having the right size is not something we can reach today. But I think I'll know enough to say that it will definitely finish next week, Wednesday. That's what I'm expecting it to. But time genuinely flies these days. Got a few things to add to my agenda to help me keep track. But depending on what the messages we get during this week, I'm expecting that I will indeed be live on Wednesday. So Monday we get the February update of my yarn consumption, which I wouldn't say it's been bad for February, but it's not been as much as I hoped. But my stash definitely has decreased. But yeah, everything that's been happening this month is one of the reasons that the consumption in my optics hasn't been as much as I had hoped it would be. But yeah, so I basically have 2 weeks time right now to plan for what I will bring with me on my travel to Denmark. So I'll think shawl will be nice because of the cake being, I don't need to keep track of multiple yarn balls, so to say. Patty says she was making a ton of French market / beach bags for her shop, and now she's making myself some texturous washcloths. Jesus, I can't speak today. And now I'm making myself some textured washcloths. That was a tongue twister for me. French market bags. Is that the open netted ones? I have a fair few bags also in my stash. I like making bags of cotton yarns. That's been quite enjoyable to me. Also feel like making beanies. Or bucket hats. Bucket hats. It's getting spring and summer. It's getting bucket hat season. Yeah, I've noticed they're quite popular. So yeah, I would say those, yeah, they're like with bigger holes, so they will expand easy when you do the farmer's market. Mine is more like generally summer, great for bringing with you on the beach or something like that. I'm not sure if they would be, in that sense, market friendly because they're just a one strap hank. That's more like you hang them on your shoulder, so to say. Which I guess couldn't be too bad for a market bag either, but would take longer to make. I did not know you had a shop though. Is it an Etsy shop or do you have like do you do markets or what do you do? Or do you have your own web shop? Could also be, of course. I've been debating on a web shop on my own. Though right now it's sort of pending due to the reasons I cannot control right now. So it's put on a pause. Patty says yes on Etsy store, and you and your daughter have 2 booths at the antique mall nearby. Oh, that's cool though. It's like, you know, those consignment store like thing where you can like rent a space and you can add your things to sell. I love the idea of the consignment store. Depending on what they charge, obviously. There was a place where they wanted to do consignment stores not too far from here. And I think that was 100% commission based one. So it wasn't like you pay X per week, a month for your items to be there, plus whatever fees. It was actually just fees only. But I think, I'm not sure if it's fee wise would make sense for me. But it says she hasn't tried markets yet because she's 65 and can't do it by herself. I understand. I'm personally also not a market type. I don't mind having a stand, but I'm not the market type myself. I guess it's also a bit because market costs cash and it's an investment, so you'll have to test if it's working out for you or not, right? It could work, but I might, for the easiness of my own. I like the convenience of not having, like, you know, the thing is, when you do markets, you limit yourself of being able to make products because you need to be present at the market. Of course, that said, You can make products while waiting on customers at the market to purchase things, but generally you're spending time to sell your things, right? And when you're selling, you're not restocking. So it is a bit of a question. I would say if you do have markets, or if you do markets, it needs to make sense compared to where you live, and compared to where I live right now. And the options we have nearby, markets is not really a logic option for me, so to say. So yeah. Patty says that the consignment store she sells at, or an antique mall, they pay rent for the booth they have, and they handle everything else. So do they also charge a commission based on the amount of sales you do, or is it just a flat rate rent, and then you get to keep all proceeds? For those being curious, it is now 10 minutes past 4 p.m. here in the Netherlands. And I'll crank on with a couple of more rows. Let's see, I need to get into this one. Yeah, okay. So Patty says they do take a small fee. So they do take a percentage fee of the sales as well, of the proceeds. So it's a combination. Sort of what I expected. I guess it's fair because they put in the working hours. They put in, like, so they have to make sure that the store is manned, staffed, and of course they have to pay rent, right? So it's kind of a combination. So that is their way of making it run around. But I still think it's a nice idea. In our local mall, in the other city, so not in Nijmegen, but in Arnhem, they actually have like one of the, previously there was a store in that space, but now they have the opportunity where you can actually rent that for a day or for a week, and you can sell your items. And that could be if you're recycling, rehoming some of your clothes you're not using anymore. Um, but it could also, in this case, like be if you did some sort of craft and you wanted to share the space, or sell your items there. But I far from have enough items to actually even attempt that, and I don't even know what they would want for a day or a week. Um, and every time I've seen it been there, I haven't seen a lot of people going into it. But that can also be due to the clothing whoever tried to resell is in there, like if it speaks to people, right? So, and they wouldn't take a fee because you will be the one being required to actually also handle the sales and stuff like that. Um, which is not really my thing. I'd rather just, run with an Etsy store plus maybe my own web store or whatnot. And then just have to handle shipping. I think that's much, much more overseeable in my way of doing things. Though Etsy also have their own high fees, right? Patty says been really disappointed with Etsy and all the fees they charge. I wish someone would make a new platform that would only be handmade items, because Etsy has gotten really crowded and not handmade. Yeah, that's true. Etsy has gotten more also. Uh, so what it really disturbs me with Etsy is that they allow the drop shipping, and the print on demand products. While I'm fine with print on demand in general, print on demand doesn't seem handmade. You may have made the design, but it's not handmade because it's printed on clothing. And that clothing, I bet you, those print on demand stores are not hand making, hand sewing those t-shirts. That's mass produced somewhere in Asia. Um, so I'm definitely not in agreement with this quote unquote handmade when it comes to the products like that. But products that you somehow you may design, you may print out, but you need to like cut them out by hand yourself and do the shipping yourself and do all of the aspects yourself. If you hand sew the t-shirts on your own, I'm fair with you doing some sort of application to it with your designs and then shipping it off. I'll be fine with that. Those making personalized labels on Etsy, the labels are still handmade. I'm fine with that. My issue is I guess also digital wallpaper products, stuff like that. Um, that's not handmade either. Um, so I guess you could say that I'm fine with the concept of print on demand, but it just doesn't seem logic to sell it on Etsy. Though my suspicion is that Etsy is looking on it a little bit like, yeah, somebody did design it, blah, blah, blah. Somebody did physically, quote unquote, hand make it based on the fact that they designed it and spent time doing it. But I think they're just tapping into a revenue stream. It's money. They're earning money. And they have to decide what type of community they want to cater to. And that is a marketing decision that Etsy would have to make. The benefits with Etsy is that they do have a platform of a lot of buyers, and creating a new platform only focusing on handmade in the sense that we conclude here is gonna be very competitive and challenging. And the real question is if there would be enough money be able to be made for it. That will really take some developing skills, and I do not possess those. I can say that for sure. But it's a money perspective. Everything is about money and earning money, making money. But it says all about the money now. It makes me very mad. I haven't had any sales since Christmas, and I can't afford to pay for marketing on the site, so I have to make a decision. Um, Patty, do you have other social media channels? Like, um, do you use Instagram, for example? And do you actively take photos of your makes? And then you can always add there, can be purchased here in the description of those photos and stuff like that. You can also do it on Facebook. to kind of help drive traffic to your Etsy store, because it's just not about Etsy driving traffic. Because the challenge is with Etsy, yes, your store is saturated because of the type we make. So there is so many crocheters worldwide. And then it's 100% about Etsy SEO, but also promoting your products in a way where, yeah, sort of saying to people, hey, look, this is what I have. You can actually buy it here. Because else, if you make, let's say, bags, it just drowns in all the other bag makers. You either need to offer something unique, or you need to be more present than the rest. So it frustrates me Etsy takes listing fees plus the huge fee they take. I understand they have to have some sort of listing fee. I'd rather than that they did one listing fee and not you have to renew it like every 3 months or something like that. That is what I'm disliking the most. Like, the beanie didn't change just because you have to relist it 3 months later. But again, it's how they earn money. So, what can we do? Nothing. You're very welcome, Patty. Absolutely very welcome. So Patty says she has Facebook and her granddaughter is going to help her with Instagram. So it's a great idea. Going to look into Instagram to help with Etsy. Thank you so much for the suggestion. And what you can do with Instagram, by the way, and Facebook is you can link them together because Meta owns both. Hallelujah. And then you can actually, when you post one thing on Instagram, you can actually have that post on Facebook as well. And you can option for yourself to, if you want to divide that from your personal Facebook and set up a business sort of Facebook for it instead. Patty's Creative Creations, example wise, you have the Patty's Creative Creations on Facebook. You combine and link that to your Instagram account, which is named the same because you have to have a brand name. I don't know what your brand name is, but this is just me rambling. So then when you post on Instagram, it automatically also posts on Facebook, and then obviously link to that product. You're doing like take photos of the beanies on a hat, or take photos of the market bags, etc., showcasing them how they can be used. And you can still post it multiple times if it's the same, just different angles, different photos, different content, and just keep doing that. That would probably be the best way for you to drive traffic to your Etsy without directly paying for it, but it will take some manual labor. If you're wondering, by the way, I do have a degree in marketing. I just never used it. Susan says, the Etsy sellers with all forms of social media get more attention. Advertising is everything if you want to succeed in sales. Exactly. That, my friend, is the key. It is presence and informing people that what is here. That is definitely everything. And it's stuff that I will be looking way more into in the future. Right now, well, due to life situations, life is postponed. That part of life is postponed. But I've come to the decision, next to running some of my own projects for my other small business, I do want to see if I can turn some of these makes and then actually sort of create a business from it. And that will require, oh, I was too quick here again. It wasn't supposed to be a double crochet, it was supposed to be 2 into 1. So saved. So that is definitely something I will be looking into, but it all depends on what's gonna happen and what not. Patty says, congratulations, Jess, that's very helpful. Was in retail for almost 20 years and that has helped. Love your mix. I'm sure you will do well, especially with the marketing background. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope I will. It will be something that will have to be tested. It definitely will be something that I have to get tested. And I have not been as good at using Instagram as I should lately. I will also admit that. And then a part of me put a hold on it because I wanted to do all these things. But I think right now, due to the situation with my mom, I'm waiting to see what treatment plans they have for her, and what the prognosis will be, and then it will be easier to start working on everything else on top. Because I will have to obviously travel a lot more back and forth, and if I am in Denmark, and my stock is in the Netherlands, then shipping is challenging, or it has to wait until I'm back. So that will be 100% depending on that. So it could either be, if I do a web store, it will be shipping in X days, next shipping date, so to say, or with the Etsy, I will have to do lots of vacation, I guess, or only have products. Like, I want to design some patterns as well. I just haven't gotten started on that either. Patty says, understandable. Prayers are with you and your family with your mom's situation. Thank you very much. You know, that's the best that can be. Sending prayers and hopes for the best possible outcome is the only thing we can wish for right now until we're waiting. It sounds like they hope this week, by the end of the week, maybe to have a better overview of the type she has and what treatment plan will be made. I'm intentionally omitting the dreadful word related to a lung tumor, but it is what it is, because I guess it's the best way of trying to stay positive. And yeah, when I have an update, I will update you guys as well. But I'm expecting that will first be next week. Maybe I'll know it earlier, but it's also a bit of a question when I have time to make the content for YouTube. So we are almost complete with this round. I will be doing one more round. Then I've done 3 rounds since we did the last measuring. So what I'll do is I'll finish this round, and I'll finish the next round, and we'll do a temp fitting measuring, and then we'll see how far we are. But we are definitely not that far that I can say that we are finished. I think we'll need a few more rounds, but we are definitely getting closer. And then the slanted front post. Ooh. And then we need to find this stitch like that. Single crochet, was it not? It was a chain to get some height. And the first double in the following. Insert the stitch marker to keep track. It does look nice, like just putting it down like this. It looks really, I like it. It's a nice view. Hopefully that's a little bit better view. At least I'm trying to. So, we are ready to do one more round. It's a bit funny because it's only really the first repeat of the whole pattern. So the first 4 stitches that goes a bit funny, and the whole, because the rest is just normal. But the first bit, then this really curls a lot before I'm all the way around. That's a bit funny. But yeah, it's all right. So yeah, I'll definitely also be doing more on Instagram, Facebook in the future. I'm way too old for this. And I'm not old at all compared to some of you guys, I'm aware. But I feel way too old for this. I even set up an account on TikTok. Shorts, reels. That is the thing. All in future preparations. Working on a logo as well. I may need to rebrand a little bit. So I'll still be My World of Crochet because, of course, it's still my world of crocheting this. But I will have to rebrand some of it a bit. Yeah, I hope it will be really awesome. But as I said, many things to come. There are really things that I need to just sit down and do right now. It's been postponed because of there's so many other things happening. In the beginning, this is a bit of the crazy story, right? In the beginning, I was postponing it because I had to wait until my unemployment benefits ran out. And the reason for this is if they found out, the government, that I was working on doing this, then they would say, but you spent this amount of hours working on your business, and that's more than the allocated amount of hours you already were using on your own business, which then suddenly means that you're not available to find a new full-time job. Therefore, we are now going to cut or deduct you in your unemployment benefits. And I'm like, I paid taxes. That is why I have the rights for the unemployment benefits in the first place. And I already did all of this before when I was still working full time, but whatever. So I had to wait for that to expire to make sure that I did not get into trouble, if that makes sense. And then suddenly we had the rehoming of my mom-in-law, my mom getting more sick, and now, well, that situation. So everything is like, it's postponing and postponing, but eventually I just have to bite the apple and say, now this is what we are gonna be doing. And it's also a bit about consistency when you're doing this marketing stuff. It's the same here in the US for the unemployment benefits, I guess. That is, if you have rights for those. I didn't have that long on them, and that was based on the amount of time you've then been in active employment. And as somebody said last week, well, earlier this week was, I think, Monday during my live, that with everything going on, that's probably why I haven't found the perfect job yet, which is probably even true. I also talked a lot with my partner about the situation because obviously we live under the same roof, and he's very clear with the fact that I obviously need to earn money, which I also want to. I don't want to be dependent. And he also understands right now that finding a full-time job is definitely not on my priority list. It's just not important. Well, it is eventually important, but not right now. So even my dad asked me, I think that was this weekend maybe, he was like, oh, did you find a new job? And I'm like, Dad, no. Right now it's not practical with everything going on, because if I have to travel to Denmark, let's say just once a month, or even more often, hallelujah, how would I be able to afford that? Like, I wouldn't be able to find an employer that would be fine with me being gone so often, because in the Netherlands they have 20, like the minimum allowed of the minimum required vacation days if you work full time 40 hours a week is 25 vacation days in a year, next to the public holidays, bank holidays, etc. And I'm quite sure I will have needed way more than those 25 this year. And he understands and he supports the fact that I will probably have to go back and forth quite a bit. So that's nice, at least that he's supporting and he's understanding. He would have done the same, it was his mom, so that's cool. But yes, it will be a lot of traveling coming up. And then we will visit hubby, I think. Probably, likely. Depends. If my mother is still admitted to the hospital, then it would be a great excuse to spend a bit of time in the yarn store too. So yeah. We had this plan, it's about a year ago, where she mentioned it. She sent me this photo of a bunch of yarn stores that's actually not too far from where they live. All sorts of small yarn stores, probably like kept at home premises and so on. And I was like, oh, we are gonna go on yarn store too. I'm just not so sure that's gonna happen now. So it's more me going to stores, I guess. I actually do have a yarn that's just a little bit thicker than this. That could also work up maybe, but I wonder if then that would be too big. And I think you could probably use maybe a 4mm hook for that one too. I will have to see. Or in that event, you could also then option to use fewer stitches, because then it will get smaller. Because if you size down the hook too much, the fabric gets too dense, stiff. My maiden name is Rölk, I would say then, because the OE would be an Ö. That would be Rölk. That could be Danish. That could definitely be Danish. My middle name is also very Danish. Well, my full name is very Danish, but that's not a surprise. But my middle name is probably the most Danish because I'd also have this OE or Ø, and that's Myrhøj. Which I'm not expecting anyone to be able to pronounce. So the OE is the aberration for the Danish Ø. So basically, we have a bunch of extra letters. Well, not a bunch. We actually have 3 extra letters. So let's see if I can find it. The Ø would be the OE. I put it in chat. Sounded Rolk. Yeah, I would say Rolk. Let's see. Yeah. So if it's like spelled like this, it would be definitely Rolk, I would say. Kind of like my married name in German. Yeah. That would be the O with an umlaut, which is like the 2 dots on top. That's definitely the way of doing that. Let's see. You're slowly getting there. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's not a common name though. There are days where I've been thinking maybe I should add my dad's name as well. His family name. He also has a family name that's quite special. but that will probably cost some cash because of papers and stuff. So Patty says neither of my names are common and very hard for people in Alabama to pronounce either one. A lot of people get easier to do Stina when I've said it's like Christine, right? Because if you just read my name, most native English speakers will say Stein, which is not the way to pronounce my name. It's Stina. My goodness, we are almost finished this row. Then it will be time for another fitting. And measuring. I think we'll start by measuring the length. Then we will see with the fit. I think that's what we're gonna do here because I do soon have to leave. And I can't finish another round. And I'm not sure how many more rounds we need. Have to make an assessment based on that. Figure out if I'll do something before next week Wednesday, but we'll finish it on Wednesday. That is one thing I can promise. And I'll be here at the same time next week Wednesday. Quite curious as to how far we are. My feeling says that we are not completely there yet. We need a little bit longer. Good morning, Sarah. Don't worry, don't worry. We also almost finished. I'm sure you were busy doing useful stuff. Just happy to see you. The weather in Minneapolis is currently partly cloudy at 41 degrees Celsius or 5 degrees or 41 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius. Temperature, we had wind is blowing from northwest at 2 miles per hour. That's almost wind still. Humidity is 82. Sounds like it's gonna rain or just have been raining. Sarah has been taking care of her 2 kids this morning. That, I think, is a very deemable good reason. So we are almost there. We just need to flip down and pick that one for the slanted bit. And then we need to slip stitch. There we go. One more round done. Awesome. Sarah says it's a good guess. It rained last night. Unusual for this time of the year. We usually have snow November through March. Oh, that's because it's a bit warm then. Then for the season, I guess. This is currently our length, and the crown was 6 centimeters. And based on that cheat sheet I have, that says that this is a size for a teenager / small head, which I definitely do not have. We did test this earlier this video. I definitely do not fit this. Well, I fit it, but it will be a squeezed fit. It's not comfortable. So this is just not for my size head. That's what it is. Sad but true. We are now at almost 7. 6 3/4. 6 3/4 inches. So 7 is right here where my thumb is. So one more row and we have 7. And the cheat sheet says for Tinshless adult small, we need a total length of 7.5 to 8. So if we do 7.5, that would be here, and 8 would be here. So my assessment is we need 3 more rows, and then we need to wrap it up. But I need to just make sure to check how much and how they end this. So I probably what I will do before next week Wednesday is I will watch the tutorial. Yeah, it is a gorgeous yarn, and it has this awesome shine. You can almost see it actually. It has this awesome shine to it. I really like it. It's just a shame it's not my size. And I even crocheted hooked up. Like they recommend an F hook. I use a G hook. So they recommend 3.75, and I'm using a 4. That's not a big difference. I should probably take my 4.5 to get closer to size. I don't though think like it's not stiff in that manner, but it's definitely more like a teenager / child-sized hat. In that sense, it's sad, but I'm not unhappy. What we are gonna do is we are gonna change over. So what I'm gonna do is we'll do like this, and we'll go back up so you can see my pretty head, hopefully. Yeah. And our friend, we need to find a name for him, as we talked about. But I will pop up some stuff for that in Friday's Yarn Talk. I would say watch that for updates, etc. And I think I'll call for some name suggestions there. See how much I can remember from this live, plus the suggestions from that. And then we will make a poll to find a name for my friend here. Because calling it my mannequin head seems so unpersonal. And I think we can be personal now because my mannequin head has been in quite a few of my videos. So he is becoming a part of it. So as you can see, even getting it on my mannequin head, it's a little bit of a snug fit. But I would say we are definitely getting closer to a nice beanie. What I do know from my mannequin head is that he needs to have the eyes covered to get the full top. I've gotten used to that based on how it's fitting on my, but we are getting pretty close. We are getting pretty close. Call it nose, possibly too. So really love the texture of this pattern and how it's doing. It's gorgeous, definitely very gorgeous. Oops. Let's just for fun measure the circumference of this head. We can do in inches just because I know you guys are all Americans right now. I think majority are. Whoop, daisy. So we are. This is not going very well because it's not sticking. The circumference of our friend is roughly 20 inches. Roughly. And my circumference is 22 of this friend. So obviously, if my friend is only 20 and I'm 22, and it's tight snug on my friend here, it's never gonna fit me. My ears will get squeezed. That said, I'm still pretty happy with the fit here. So it's still good. Like, I'm still happy. I feel it's more like 9-inch, 20. You shouldn't be more than 20 inches for fitting of this. 19 is probably more realistic, which is more like a teenager child size. But I do love it. I do like how it's turning out. And if it's then, yeah, 7.5 is where we're heading. We still need a few more rows, but we are getting there. I'm happy with the progress made. Definitely happy. It is indeed almost done, though finishing it will be next week, Wednesday. Because as said, I'm running out of time today, and I have so many things I still need to do before leaving. This is the yarn we have left. We have enough yarn to finish it. It's not gonna be yarn chicken, which I'm really happy about. So I have plenty of yarn to finish this one up in time, so that will be fine. Then I think it's also not the last time I've done this one. I have a few other yarns I think could work out really nice with this pattern that I'll probably test out and see how we'll go. So there's that. I think that's pretty much it. I'll be here on Friday with the yarn talk video, an update. We need name suggestions from my good friend. Then I'll be on Monday with my decrease my stash update for February, because then we're already in the month of March, so that is a decrease my stash update time. Yay! And then I'll be back Wednesday finishing up this, and I will definitely finish Wednesday because we are so close. So we will have a part 4 on Wednesday. It will be about same time as today, so that will be 2 p.m. Central European time or 8 a.m. Eastern. And let's see. Yeah, from there on, time will show what's all gonna happen. But hopefully, most of my things are done by then, which is not related to crochet. So I have more freedom to crochet and just focus on my family, which would be really, really nice. So we will have to take it from there. I am going to say take care and happy crafting. Until I see you again, stay safe, and I'll see you on Friday's yarn talk, or definitely live next week. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It was a great time, wonderful time. I always love hanging out with you guys. We hang out way too little. So I could call him Manny. That was a good suggestion, Oddballs. I could call him Manny. That's also an option. I was thinking about a name that could be both male and female, but Manny might also work. But I'm also debating on getting like a full body mannequin size. Thoughts. So looking forward to see you ladies and gentlemen, if any, next week. Prayers to everybody. I hope you have a great time until I see you again. Stay healthy and enjoy your crafting. So yeah, happy crafting until I see you again. Bye.